Hey guys, HaxerTech here for another video tutorial. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a video that's part of sort of a series on a new VPN software that I'm going to be talking about. But the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about what a VPN actually is. So VPN is basically generally a software application or something that you can use to block your IP address to other websites, applications, and things like that. So I found this little diagram or guide that kind of shows you a very quick representation of what a VPN. So here's you on your computer, your iPad, iPhone, Android device, whatever device that you're using, and then here's the VPN that sort of mediates between you and your destination. So this could be something like Netflix if you're watching Netflix, Skype calls, Twitter, things like that. So some reasons you might want to use a VPN, let's say for example with Netflix. In some countries you can't watch Netflix unless you're located in the United States. And so you can actually use a VPN to replicate your IP address as being from a different country. So let's say, for example, you wanted to watch Netflix in India, and since Netflix is not offered in India, usually you wouldn't be able to do that. You would be able to use a VPN to make it appear as though you're accessing Netflix from the United States, and then the content will play fine. Same thing, for example, if you're on a British website and the content is only available to people that are living in the UK. So you can actually use a VPN in the United States to be able to access that content on that British website. So there's a number of different ways that VPNs can really help you. Okay, so here is another thing that I wanted to show you. So here I'm on a website called IPLocation.net. And basically this is a website that I use, and there's a number of other ones that you can use that will allow you to see your IP address. So your IP address will appear on the top here as a number, which I'm not going to display in this video, but you'd be able to see the actual number of your IP address, and then it's going to give you the location. So here I'm out of Florida, and you can see that it's detecting that there's no proxy, the device type is a PC, so it can give you a lot of information about the machine that you're using to access this particular website. If you use a VPN service of any kind, then it's going to change how other websites and other applications view your IP address. So for example, I could turn on a VPN right now, and then when I go ahead and connect to that VPN and I load this website up here, my IP location may appear as something like Germany, and I'll have a different number here for my IP address. You can see that it's just some numbers under there. Also, the device may appear different as well, so it might show as, like, for instance, in some cases Linux or whatnot. So it'll change all the information that you see, and it's changing how other devices and other websites see you browsing the internet. This is also good for a number of other reasons. For example, if you're browsing the internet and you get to a website that happens to be containing some malicious content, or it's got some spyware and it's trying to track you, it can actually save you by hiding your identity. And so it can be a good security measure to prevent yourself from getting hacked and having other information taken from you. Another thing that's very common, and especially with the videos that I do very frequently, is with torrenting. So whenever you torrent videos, or if you're downloading videos from file sharing sites, it can be a really great way to get some really nice free content. So even if you're sharing files that are your own personal files, for example, and even if it's not pirated or torrented content, it's still possible that AT&T or Verizon or Bright House or whoever your internet provider is will be watching the activity that you're doing on your computer, and if you're torrenting files, they can send you a notice to cease and desist. And so what can happen is if you're torrenting a lot of files or you're downloading files from a file sharing website too often, they can throttle your internet connection, and you can even get reported, and there are legal implications that can happen there as well. So again, there's a lot of different reasons that you might want to use a VPN. So one more place that I wanted to mention that you may use a VPN is actually at work, and I, as a matter of fact, happen to use VPNs at work all the time. So you can actually use it for remote users, and you can use it for just accessing content that other people wouldn't otherwise be able to access. So for example, if you work at a company where there's restricted content that only employees should be able to access, files, documents, websites, for example, where you may do your time card, government information that only you should be able to have access to, being able to use a VPN allows you to prove that you're an authorized person to access that content. And so you can actually connect to the VPN that your work may provide you, and then you'll be able to access content as if you're accessing it from your workplace. And so that's a good example of how I do it in my workplace. For example, if I need to work remotely, I can connect to a VPN network, and then whenever I'm accessing certain websites or certain applications, the way that I'm being viewed by those applications or those websites, it's being perceived that I'm basically accessing that information from work. So it's almost identical to if I was actually physically in the office. And so obviously, there are variations depending on the VPN that you're using, but that's one of the advantages of VPNs, and that's how it can be used. You can use it as if you're accessing a website from a completely different location. And so for the workplace, this is the way that so many remote users are able to work. You can work from home on your laptop using either a computer that your work gave you, or you can even use, your own personal machine if that's how they choose to set you up, and connect to a VPN, and then again, it's just as if you're physically in the office location. So again, there's a ton of different ways that you can use VPNs. So that's just a quick look at what a VPN is and how it works. And again, all of these are different. The functionality of every individual VPN program is unique. Some of them have more than one country you can choose from, and some are limited to only a few. The different settings that you can change and adjust in each application is unique, so that is something that will change from client to client, but in general, the overall purpose of using a VPN is the same. So this has just been a quick look at that. Stay tuned for more videos on a really great VPN application that I found that I'd like to talk to you guys more about. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.